Remember when I said the next video was going to be split second? I lied. Money struggles are becoming something of a regular thing for me these days, so it's time for another paid review request. Coming once again from Mr. CIA Dave or Nez Manga or whatever he's calling himself these days. What say we go on an adventure, shall we? Those are always cool. Buckaroo Banzai one-on-one. The Adventure of Faustus Bidgood is a weird little lesser-known surrealist Canadian comedy film released in 1986 that was actually filmed in 1976. It was the first film to ever be entirely produced in Newfoundland by Newfoundlanders funded by the Canadian Council. It's 100% Canadian. And did I mention it took 10 years to make? This one is a weird sit. I can honestly tell you that I don't think I really understood what the hell was even going on. From what I could gather, the film's title character Faustus Bidgood is some weird fuck with a personality disorder that his father also had. He was once in a mental hospital and went on to work for Newfoundland's Provincial Department of Education as, I think, a file clerk. The film jumps back and forth between reality and fantasy, where Bidgood imagines he's this revolutionary hero loved by all that becomes president of Newfoundland, separating the province from Canada as its own sovereign nation. He's also occasionally thinking about violently murdering people with axes or staplers. Sure, we'll go with that. That's the best I've got as far as selling what this movie's about, but there's a lot more weird shit. Oh, also, he has an imaginary friend. Almost completely forgot to mention that one. He has a Tyler Durden. I didn't even realize this until the character just entirely vanished out of frame. Most of this film feels like it was edited on Windows Movie Maker, so it's often hard to tell what's reality and what isn't. The film begins with a poem from Newfoundland and Labrador Premier Jonathan Moon. It reads as follows. I'm dead as a doornail, though very high-strung. I can make loud noises, though I have no lung. I'm fun at parties, though I do not drink. I have no brain, and yet I can tink. T-I-N-K. Jonathan Moon. What does that mean? I have no fucking clue. One of the film's main subplots, among others, is that Premier Moon likes fucking with Newfoundland by going missing randomly and leaving little pre-recorded video clues about where he might be. Now, you're likely curious as to whether or not Jonathan Moon was an actual premier for Newfoundland and Labrador. I mean, seeing as I'm a Canadian YouTuber, you would think I would have the answer to this question. And the answer I have for you is, no, he's not real. He was entirely made up for this film. You know how some movies open with, like, real quotes from some person? Like Nightmare on Elm Street with that Edgar Allan Poe quote about dreams and shit? That's all well and good when it's a real person that's actually said stuff. It's weird as shit when it's a made-up person in a movie that hasn't even been introduced to us yet, spouting words that we've never heard before. This movie is fuck. Bidgood's boss has this idea for something called total education, which he thought up when he witnessed his friend get hit in the head with a bag of frozen soup. He looked up in the sky to see a grid, I guess, which perfectly cast a shade upon his dead friend, and it really inspired him because total education. There's this guy, Eddie Pebble, that Bidgood's boss has it out for. Pebble is running in a Newfoundland election and is quite popular with the people, but Bidgood's boss knows his dark, terrible secret as a Newfoundland-hating flamenco dancer. Also, Pebble may or may not have pushed his baby sister off a pier, though this movie feels like it was edited on Windows Movie Maker at times, so it's hard to tell what's meant to be reality and what isn't. Throughout the film, Pebble is rehearsing for a play, which ends up becoming part of the film's grand finale of weirdness. If you're not really following the film too well, which I wasn't, scenes like this are incredibly fucking bizarre, especially out of context. There's also this children's TV show mascot that I think is meant to be a take on Big Bird or something that decides to just up and quit and go on a drinking binge in the middle of a park. Another scene that, if you're hardly following the film, is really fucking bizarre.
Take that tape, will you? God! I quit!
Is The Adventure of Faustus Bidgood a bona fide Canadian classic, or an awful hatchet job that took 10 years too long to make? Why not both? The film was written and directed by Andy and Michael Jones. Andy Jones actually went on to do a lot of TV work and still does up to this day. He also played the title character of Faustus Bidgood. He was a writer for Kids in the Hall, a brilliant Canadian satire TV series from 1994 to 1995. If you haven't seen it, it's basically like Canada's Monty Python, only better. The film was nominated at the 1987 Genie Awards for Best Original Screenplay, Best Achievement, Film Editing, and Best Original Song. For what? I Want a Girl Named Cheryl?
Perhaps a colleen whose name was Pauline, who hailed from the Isle of Merashee.
No way, boy.
Robert Joy, who plays Eddie Pebble, also went on to do a lot of friggin' stuff, usually playing really fucking ugly characters, like Charlie in Land of the Dead, or this fucking thing from Hills Have Eyes. I also just realized that he played this guy from Death Wish 5, the dandruff problem guy. You may remember this one.
Hey, Freddie. I'm going to take care of your dandruff problem for you.
Brian Downey played Fred Combs, or Coombs, Bidgood's weirdo boss. He's been in a fucking ton of shit, too, most notably the TV series Lex. A fantastic Canadian and German sci-fi satire from the late 90s. It's a lot like Canada's Red Dwarf, if you want to put it that way, only better. Ness Manga is currently applying for a job with the FBI. I don't know all the details, but Special Agent Kim Anderson wants to recruit him for a mission to extract cocaine zombie monkeys that lie beneath an ancient city that is hidden under Mount Everest. If you wish to support me monetarily, the email for my PayPal is in the description below. Also, I have merch now. Want a Cine Masochist t-shirt? How about a hat? 1201beyond.com is the place for you. And while you're there, be sure to catch me on Radiodrome with Josh Hadley and Cecil from Good Bad Flicks. You can also support Perturbator, the groovy motherfucker that created my theme song, and other talented bastards on bloodmusic.com. All can be found in the description below. What are you waiting for? You have everything to lose, and I have everything to gain.
I'm the mountain. I'm handsome, I'm brave, I'm strong. I'm the mountain, and I enforce the law. You can try to run, but you can never hide.